Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. And today on the channel, I'm going to be talking about a brand new drama film that premiered back in theaters back in early November and is now on VOD to rent. The film is called Armageddon Time. Is the film even worth your time, or should you just skip it? Find out my thoughts next. Armageddon Time is a deeply personal coming-of-age story about the strength of family and a generational pursuit of the American dream. The film stars AnneHathaway, Jeremy Strong, Banks Rapida, Jaylin Webb, Anthony Hopkins, Ryan Sell, and Andrew Polk, and many others, and was directed by James Gray, and he is most notably known for making the movie Ad Astra. Armageddon Time was not really a film that I really had high hopes for of actually seeing. The trailer to me, it looked kind of mediocre. It didn't really look like a film that I really would kind of like, but I gave it a chance for the heck of it. You follow the story of this boy named Paul, and he lives in a rich family. They're Jewish. He's going to this school, and he's having trouble fitting in. It's that coming of age kind of story. We've seen this kind of story many of times. And he meets this black boy named Johnny, and you can tell in this film it really does deal with a lot of prejudice type of aspects. His family, they are prejudiced, and blacks are not really widely accepted in white areas. And what happens is Johnny actually offers him marijuana, and Paul actually tries to smoke it, and he gets caught by his teacher, and that's when his family really wants him to change schools. So in him actually changing schools, he has to deal with a more upscale kind of school. It's a private school. They're paying a lot of money for him to be at the school. And these other kids at the school, he's not really making friends with them. There is a point in the film where you see Johnny when he meets him up at a fence, and I believe it's in the trailer, and they are actually making fun of him because he is black. And this really disturbs him. He really gets really upset by this. His grandpa, he really confides in, played by Anthony Hopkins. And Anthony Hopkins, he's always given him really good advice. He's very believable of stuff that is going on in his life, and he tells him about the racism behavior. And he tells him, brush that kind of stuff off. Don't allow that kind of thing to really bother you, and don't let that kind of behavior really sink into your head. And he gives them really good advice. And I think Anthony Hopkins here, he's probably the best character besides actually following Paul in this story. However, from a point of view of what the subject matter of this film actually is, I don't think that this film really adds anything to it. It does show blacks actually getting attacked for just being black and just that racism portion, and then it shows white privilege. I found that Paul's family, AnneHathaway, she's okay in this. She doesn't give any spectacular performance. It's all right and it's serviceable. It's AnneHathaway on screen. I think that Jeremy Strong, he plays the father. I thought he did a pretty good job with his role. He has that asshole vibe. There is one scene where he has a really strong part where he actually beats his son for actually smoking marijuana. And I found they did a really good job of actually executing the character. And it also shows in the film that the father and son actually have some growth as a unit and as a family. And I think that that's really important to actually having a boy actually grow up, having that growth with their father. And sometimes you'll have those moments where you're misbehaving and you need that beating to actually, be an obedient kid. And he was just kind of going off the rails and doing things that he should have been doing. But at the same time, I understood why he was doing it, because he really just wanted to fit in and he was having trouble making friends. And from a point of view of actually showing Johnny, he plays Jaylin Webb. He is the black boy that is being picked on in this film. I thought his performance was not too bad. I think that his kind of way of how he was growing up, I think it's something that really happens a lot, especially in the African American community. He has no mother or father. He is living with his grandmother. His grandmother is not doing the best. And of course, when you have a grandmother like that, they can't really watch their kid at all times. And it's very easy for them to really fall out of line. And in this film, he does fall out of line. He is failing school. He actually has to repeat a grade. Those kinds of people that are poor and, they may not have the best education and they may not have the best support system for them. It's really tough on them, and it's really tough for them to make friends and make good choices. And I think the film really does tackle that portion. And it also does slightly tackle on the politics side of all this. But I just think that the film, it's just one of those films that it doesn't really have a easy resolution. It's something that is still going on in certain aspects of our world today. I don't know if you would say it's as bad as the 60s or if it's worse than it's ever been. I think politics kind of plays a little bit of a role in certain things that are really going on today. But I think even back then, because I believe this takes place in the 60s, politics was playing a big role in race back then as well. So I think that the film, it kind of slightly dabbles into that, but it doesn't dabble in it too much. Overall, for me, this movie is kind of mediocre. It isn't something that we haven't seen before. I wasn't bored by this movie. It was an okay movie, and there were some serviceable performances, and there were some, good life lessons at points in this film. But it's not a film that I would probably revisit ever again. That's why I would give a score of this film a 2.5 out of 5. Let me know in the comments, have you heard of this film? Are you interested in checking it out? Thank you guys for watching this review, and I will see you guys on my next review.